So, as the Ravens released the previously highest-paid safety in history, Earl Thomas, the Cardinals have reportedly agreed to make fourth-year safety Buddah Baker. I believe he was a second-round pick, the new highest-paid safety ever. Now, Baker, he's got a couple of Pro Bowls, one first-team All-Pro in his first 3 years, signed the 4-year, $59 million extension this morning. However, despite stars like Baker and Chandler Jones and Patrick Peterson, the Cardinals finished last in yards allowed and 28th in points allowed a season ago. So something is not adding up there, prompting them to draft Isaiah Simmons, who can plug all over the field. In or out, the Cards defense will keep Kyler Murray and the offense from reaching 500 this season.
I'm going to say out of bounds to that, BT. I think this Arizona Cardinals team is good. And look, they might not reach 500, but I'm not so sure it's going to be solely because of the defense. I think a lot of that's going to have to do with the fact that they're in the NFC West, and that division is tough. With San Francisco, who was in the Super Bowl last year, obviously Seattle is perpetually a good and well-run team, and the Rams 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. So it's, yes, in some ways it will hold them back. They're young, they'll get better, but I don't think it's going to be because of their defense that they're not, above 500. They got 6 really tough division games, and none of them are, oh yeah, that's a win.
I think that's a really good part of the retort if you don't believe that the Cardinals are going to be over 500. Tough schedule.
Yeah.
It's just tough. It's a good division. It's right now. I mean, it's very good. I think part of the reason, too, is that, last year they weren't able to punctuate drives.
Yeah.
And they left, from an offensive point of view, they left their defense out to dry a little bit much. Without somebody like DeAndre Hopkins, it's just different. They might churn out some yards, but they don't punctuate it with points.
Yep.
And that residually over the course of 16 games has an impact on the defense. I think, what I think of Kyler Murray. I think he's going to be on the outside of the MVP race this year. I think he's a superstar ready to blossom. I love the kid. I think he's going to absolutely explode and eventually win an MVP. And I do think, I would say that I would peg them right now as an 8-win team. If I had to say, do you think 9 or do you think 7? I might even be inclined to say 9. I really do like them. I like a lot of aspects of what they're doing, but I do think that it's out of bounds to say the defense will keep them from getting there. Defense will be better this year, in part because the offense will be better. Sixers have officially moved on from head coach Brett Brown. 7 seasons he was there. Man, you can't say you didn't get a chance, Coach.
No, you didn't.
You got a chance, buddy. Now the team starts its search for a new head man, and 2 names that jump off the page quickly, and 2 very different backgrounds. Ty Lue and Villanova head coach Jay Wright. All right. Now, the 76ers would be better off with a proven NBA coach like Lue over a legendary college coach like Wright.
I really like Jay Wright, BT. I really do. But I'm going to say inbounds to this. I think they would be better off with a proven NBA veteran like Ty Lue, because you got some stars on that team and some quasi-stars. Joel Embiid obviously is one. Ben Simmons is there as well for the foreseeable future, at least unless they decide to go a different way. Tobias Harris as well, who's paid. Al Horford. I think you need a coach who is not going to be teaching a new type of system or a new type of way, or bringing a lack of NBA experience to that organization. I think you have to go with a proven veteran coach who's had some success and knows how to turn, maybe one of the most underachieving teams over the last 4 or 5 years, BT, in Philadelphia, around. So, yeah, I'm going to say inbounds to that.
I agree. And I love Jay Wright, but I think Jay Wright staying at Villanova, maybe forever.
Why would you not?
I don't know.
Unless you really have that itch.
Yep.
And
that's
he's not like he's not like Cal, who went and wasn't good at it, or Pitino, who kind of got washed out of it. Like, God, I gotta prove myself. You don't have to prove anything.
Yep. No, it's funny because Calipari had 3 years with the Nets. 1 year was okay, 2 were bad.
Yep.
Keith Van Horn, that crew. Rick Pitino was really good with the Knicks early. The ping pong balls weren't kind to him with the Celtics, and instead of getting Duncan, they wound up with guys like I forget his name, but they didn't get the players they wanted. So it really depends. I think Jay's there for forever. I really do, and I've thought that I didn't always think that, but the last 2 years it's kind of cemented it. He's got a beautiful job with a prestigious school, at a school without a football presence. I know Villanova has a football team, but it's not overshadowed. It's basketball, everything at Villanova. The pay is somewhat comparable, and he's just revered, and there's no pressure. It's just, I think from the Sixers' point of view, Ty Lue, even if Jay Wright wanted to coach Philly, I wouldn't take the chance at this point. There's only X amount of the window remaining to maximize whatever remains of the Simmons and Embiid duo relationship. And I need a guy who's got some fingerprints on an NBA roster rather than rolling the dice on somebody who does not. So if I'm the Sixers, I would hire Ty Lue, and if I'm Jay Wright, I would stay put. AlbertPujols with an RBI single last night. They lost to the Astros 11-4, but he moves past A-Rod for sole possession of second place on baseball's all-time RBI list. That is absolutely amazing. Second place, wow. In 20 years, Pujols has a career average of 299, 659 bombs. He's got 3 MVPs and 2 World Series titles. A-Rod was a career, wow, did it drop down to 250? Did it drop to 250?
Who's that?
I think it dropped down to 250. It says 250 on the game.
Career average?
Yeah.
No, 295.
No, I know, but my A-Rod, well, I knew it didn't make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's got a ton of bombs as well, a lot of RBI, a lot of numbers here. What the bottom line is this: Albert Pujols has had the better overall career than A-Rod.
I mean, you can't argue. You got to say inbounds, BT, because he's not littered with scandal. I mean, that by itself kind of it makes it, whatever.
Yep, that's true. It validates Pujols more.
That's right. But the numbers are so damn similar, BT. It's crazy when you look at it. Pujols isn't going to catch A-Rod's, almost 700 home runs. Because he's probably got, maybe next year he plays. If he's not hitting 50. Maybe he does. Who knows? They got the same number of MVPs. But I'm going to say inbounds. I think Pujols does. He's not as, I think, intellectually, he doesn't have the same intellectual baseball IQ outwardly that A-Rod does, but he's as good intellectually as A-Rod is. A-Rod just has the package. He presents it. Albert Pujols is as good. He just doesn't present it as well.
Yeah. I look at it this way. Now, when I was first reading the questions, I said, well, of course, steroids and PEDs, that has to infiltrate, its way into the answer, into the conversation, which it already has. So I agree on that. Albert Pujols, I think, is better. Now, listen, A-Rod, middle of the diamond as a young kid, playing shortstop, moves to third base. Pujols, a first baseman, good first baseman, but a first baseman, which is a non-premium defensive position, certainly compared to shortstop. But here's how I look at the main difference. Forget about the numbers. And again, I know I threw a lot of numbers. Forget about that. In my opinion, I think that most objective, smart baseball people would agree with this assertion. Albert Pujols had fewer holes in his swing. Albert Pujols made contact more frequently, and Albert Pujols was a tougher out. Albert Pujols was less prone. Now, again, when you have a 295 career average like A-Rod does, you're not going to have these extended droughts where you're 2 for 40 too often. But Pujols was just, I believe, a better foul pole to foul pole hitter. I believe he was a better 2-strike hitter. I believe his pitch recognition was a little bit better. I think A-Rod used to cheat and guess a little bit more, and it worked. But I think A-Rod was able to, Pujols was able to pick up the pitch quicker and determine what it was and react accordingly. And I think he was also able to avoid expanding the zone as frequently as A-Rod could. A-Rod got himself out more than Albert Pujols did, and that's the difference for me.
I didn't look at this stat till you just started talking about that. He's just a better contact hitter.
Yeah.
Struck out 1,000 times less.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have to look at that. I didn't even look at the numbers. I just know. He's a guy who puts bat on ball, where A-Rod was swinging from the heels. And when you swing from the heels, you do damage. But when you need that, that clutch RBI base hit, like Albert had a lot of times early with the Cardinals in the playoffs, and A-Rod was scuffling early in the playoffs, that's one of the differences. So I would say that Pujols was the better all-around hitter. More like Miguel Cabrera than like Alex Rodriguez, personally. That's how I see it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.